Hello and welcome to Building the Premier Accounting Firm, having a successful accounting, bookkeeping, and tax business. I'm Roger Knecht, your host, and this show is dedicated to helping accounting professionals confidently and competently offer quality accounting services and getting paid what they're worth. I invite you to actually join and listen to the episodes that we have, subscribe to the podcast, and more importantly, take advantage of the other episodes and see what more you can learn about what you can do to build the premier accounting firm in your area and actually get paid what you're worth. So with today, we're actually going to do something a little different. Typically, we have a guest on the show, but today I'm going to be sharing with you something that I think is very, very important. It's referred to as the Freedom Workshop. It's something that I do quite regularly for businesses, and it's something that I feel is important to share with you today as you work on your company and actually apply these principles in your own business. As I go through this process, I encourage you to take out a piece of paper and pen and take some notes, because what we're going to be sharing today are things that you can be doing as a business owner, as you run your company and build your organization, having the company that you're intending to have using these principles. So first of all, what we're going to be focusing on is building a business that has value. And we're going to be addressing 4 key elements. First of all, learning the stages of a business to find out where you are in your journey to build a thriving company. We're also going to be understanding the 8 drivers that determine the value of your business, things that are essential for you to work on so that you can actually build a business that you can be proud of. Also, we're going to see what you can do to move from creating your own job to self-employment and then running a successful business. And then lastly, what does it mean to actually have a business that can thrive without you? So the first thing I want to do is actually introduce you to 3 types of businesses. And for this, what I'd like you to do is write down the 3 phases that I'll refer to as a child, a teenager, and an adult. And I think you're going to clearly see these as they apply to your business and the stage that you're currently in. Now, to introduce this, what I'd like you to first of all hear is a quote that I've been saying for years. It's not too common that you get to quote yourself, but today I'm going to be quoting myself. It's something that I've said on numerous occasions, and it's this: the first and most important threshold for the growth of your company is to stop seeing it as an extension of yourself and start seeing it as its own being, with its own needs, aspirations, and destiny. It's when you set it free that it becomes your servant and not your master. Now, with that in mind, what I want you to do is, first of all, consider the child phase. The child phase is very much like any of us that have had children. It's a business that's very dependent on us. Now, I want you to just think back when you had a child that may be, let's say, 6 months, 18 months, 2 years of age. This is an individual that you cannot leave alone for a mere moment. These children are very quick, and I'm sure you've had instances where you've seen them do things very, very much out of the ordinary, but yet could have brought great harm to them, and you needed to be there to protect them. It's when they're walking and don't have their footing just yet, and they could stumble and hit their heads on the corner of a coffee table. It's when they take something off of the ground that you didn't necessarily notice, and they want to put it into their mouth. It's when they want to stick their finger in the wall socket. All of a sudden, these things happen quite quickly, and so we just can't leave them alone. Well, likewise, you have a business that's very dependent on you. It's basically there that you're needing to set the business up. You open it in the morning, you close it at night. If you don't do the work, it doesn't get done. If you don't make a new sale, you're not bringing in new revenue. All of a sudden, it's like a child. It's something that when it wakes up, it can't get dressed without you. It can't feed itself. It's not going to entertain itself necessarily. So you're going to have to be there day and night running the business. Basically, what you did is you decided to hire yourself and quickly gave yourself a job. And that's wonderful. You are the owner of the business. But when you reflect back on starting your company, you can definitely see that, like a child, it's dependent on you for its very existence. Now, the next phase is a little bit more liberating. It's the teenager phase. As a teenager, I'm sure if you've had teenagers, you realize that they can become somewhat independent. They can have their own dreams and aspirations, their own desires and goals. They wake up in the morning, they feed themselves, they can entertain themselves. They perhaps are involved in extracurricular activities or maybe have a job that they go to. Well, that independence is like running a company that has key employees. You don't necessarily have to be there at the beginning of the day to open the business. You're not necessarily involved with all the customer interactions, nor are you involved with all the things that are done on the behind the scenes to keep the business operating and running. You've perhaps put in place various systems or processes that allow the company to function in your absence. You can now take a vacation, go on holiday, and enjoy yourself. More importantly, you can actually go to trainings and get the things that you need to do to work on your business. But it's just like a teenager. It's a company now that's starting to become a little bit more independent of you and having a little bit more autonomy because the employees can make some decisions that influence the successful experiences with your clients. So with that, you're starting to see that no longer are you needed on a day-to-day basis. Like the teenagers, your business is able to now become a little bit independent of you. But this next phase is something that I think we're all aspiring for. And it's like having our children become young adults. These young adults, they're now applying the principles that we've taught them. They're actually now applying the various standards that we raised them with, but they're becoming extremely independent. They've probably left the home. And like my young adults now that are married, you're finding that they can have careers, they can go on to college, they can start relationships where they now move out of the house and begin their own families. And in doing so, they actually become quite passionate about what they're now doing. And this is very similar to you and your organization getting to the point that you now have key management involved. These key managers will bring to the table various suggestions and ideas that complement the vision of the company. In fact, may actually bring new insights that you didn't necessarily have. It's their passion that they're going to bring to the table that allows you to grow the business and, more importantly, step away from it and let it have some autonomy from you to really grow in a different way than maybe you foresaw, but yet still be profitable and effective. What stage of business are you in? Where are you with your company? What is the next stage for you, and how do you get there? Those are some of the things that I'd like you to consider as you evaluate your business being in one of these three phases: child, teenager, or adult. In fact, I'd even go so far as to say, next to the phrases child, teenager, and adult, that you write the following. A child is very much like you have a job. It's something you get up, you go do, and it's where you're consumed by the day-to-day operations of the business. The teenager is very much a lifestyle. Yes, you own the business, but finally you're at the point now that because you're the owner of the business, you're experiencing some lifestyle things that if you went and worked and did the same job you do at your company for someone else, you probably wouldn't be as paid as well. You probably wouldn't have the autonomy that you have and the perks and benefits of running the business that you're now experiencing. But what we're striving for is getting to the point where as an adult, you're able to actually now be an owner. The owner is someone that is investing in the company, that it's autonomous from them, and they're able to pursue perhaps even other ventures, other opportunities. They're able to even retire if necessary and kind of operate at a board level. All of these things become available to you because once your business is at that adult stage, you have key management now able to run the business in your absence. These are the stages or evolutions that a company goes through that give you the freedom that you're looking for and striving to have. So with that in mind, it actually brings us to 8 drivers that determine whether or not you're in one of those stages. Now, these drivers, as you address each, you remove the associated risks. And by removing those risks, you now actually build the value of your organization and you become free from the day-to-day operations that exist. So let me just share with you what these key drivers are and basically explain how they might be relevant to your company today. The first is hub and spoke. It's essentially asking, are you in the owner's trap? Are you in a position where in your business, you're actually involved in the day-to-day operations of the business, the center of it all? And so what we want to do is see how involved you are in the day-to-day operations. The next is the financial performance. You're obviously running an accounting business, but when was the last time you actually prepared your own personal, or not personal, but business financial reports? These reports are ones that you're using, like your clients do, to run the business. So we want to make sure that those financial numbers are actually generated just as you would for your clients on a regular basis, perhaps monthly as they should. Now, with these financial reports, we're looking for the detail and how exact they are. And then the next, it brings us to growth potential. Are you in a position where you can see in your organization year over year opportunities to grow the business? So with growth potential, we're looking at your services that you're offering, the revenue that you're producing. Next year, what more will you be offering in order to provide these services? As you look at growing your business, are you able to see very distinguishable revenue streams that you're able to now see year over year growing? The next happens to be that of recurring revenue. Do you have a relationship with your clients that's more contractual in nature? You're not obviously in a position where you're just opening your doors every day and wondering who walks in. With your clients, you have arrangements where you have recurring revenue, and we want to see what kind of contractual relationships that you have. Are they month to month? Are they maybe 6-month agreements, year-long agreements? To what level are you actually bound to your clients? The next is the Switzerland structure, and it's essentially saying, how dependent is your organization on one key employee, perhaps yourself? How dependent is the company on one key customer? Is there a certain business or client that's making up more than 50% of your revenue? How dependent are you on a particular vendor? Meaning, is there a third party that if they were to have struggles or difficulties or problems, let's just say that the internet went down and you couldn't do your business, how dependent are you on those types of things? And we're just assessing where those vulnerabilities lie. The next is the valuation teeter-totter, which is to say, how much cash flow is really going on here? Are you acting as a bank where you're paying for expenses before you actually get revenue from your clients? Are they paying before you do the work, or are they paying you after you do the work? And it's looking at that cash flow. The other is monopoly control. Have you actually identified a niche? Are you becoming an expert? Are you being paid above average because of your unique specialization? Things like that actually determine then the uniqueness of not just the services you're providing, but how valuable those services are to a specific clientele. The other is customer satisfaction, and this is 2 stages. It's looking at your net promoter score, basically the customer loyalty to you and your services. Do they just see you as someone providing common traditional accounting services? Or are you uniquely doing your work so that they see that there's no one else out there like you providing these services? Are you, in fact, becoming the premier accounting firm in your area? As that, you're actually, with your net promoter score, able to identify customer loyalty. That's important because a lot of things actually depend upon their willingness to stay with your organization because of the quality of services you're providing. Related to your customer score, the net promoter score happens to be also your social proof. Social proof is meant to say online with, let's say, Google reviews, Facebook reviews, Yelp reviews. Are there basically individuals out there giving testimonials of your services that are not only numerous, but are they recent? So it's one thing to have a lot of good positive reviews, but also do you have recent ones that show that these things are still relevant? And so what we want to do is look at that. All of these 8 drivers here are ones that you need to focus on as you build your business. And when done correctly, remove the risks that might be associated with any of those, increasing the value of what you're creating. These are 8 drivers that over a course of a year, you can, as a business owner, find the time to work on and address. Now, related to this, I want to introduce you to what's called mapping your business. Now, if you've listened to previous episodes, I did an excellent detailed explanation of what mapping your business entails and how it applies to you. It's essentially an acronym that stands for marketing and sales. That's the M. A is the accounting, the services you're providing, and the key performance metrics that you're watching within your organization, the leading and lagging indicators of your company. And then the last is the P, production, and it's essentially your onboarding process, the workflow efficiency that you have to do the work, and then lastly, the client relations that you have. Mapping your business is essential because you go through an evolution of, first of all, you're doing each of these roles, but eventually you want to get to the point where you hire and delegate, perhaps to better people than yourself, the responsibilities of marketing and sales, the responsibilities of the numbers, the basic services that you're providing and what you're tracking in your organization. And then lastly, the customer experience, the onboarding, the workflow, and the client relation. As you start to delegate these roles out, you're then able to step into a much more important role as the owner of the company, now holding those things together with vision and purpose. And your role in mapping your business then isn't to have all the answers, but rather to have all of the right questions. So as you look at mapping your business, I encourage you to consider going back to the previous episode that I shared early on, where I do a deep dive into how effectively you can map your business and apply these principles in your organization. They're actually covered in great detail in a book called In the Black. As a sponsor of this episode, Universal Accounting Center, we're going to be making available to you a free copy of the book In the Black so that you can learn more about the principles of mapping your business and seeing essentially what it is that you can do to work on the short-term, long-term, and midterm goals of your company. And as you apply these principles in your organization, you'll actually be using the 9 principles to improve your profitability as you run your organization. Now, with this all in mind, one of the things that I want to stress is that with your organization, it's very important that you understand that meetings can play a very essential role in the success of your business. And so as you grow your organization, you're going to have individuals that come in and do various tasks and may just see that what they do is a job. And we want to at least help them realize that they're important to the organization, and if possible, tap into their own passion for what it is they do. So the thing that I'd like to share with you right now is, as part of the freedom exercise of growing your business and helping it become more autonomous from you on a day-to-day basis, is I want you to understand the principles of having an effective meeting that consists of, first of all, accountability. Everyone that participates in a meeting should always leave with action items as to what they can do to further whatever's being addressed. How can they actually help take advantage of or help improve something that's going on in the organization? Well, if they leave with certain things that they're assigned and tasks that they need to perform, in the next meeting, we want to begin with a return and report element. Last time we met, we spoke of these things. You were assigned these tasks. Give us an update. How are things? Were you able to do them? Are you experiencing any challenges? Is there anything we need to be aware of? Is there something that we can do to help? That return and report element creates a sense of accountability. It allows them to realize that the last meeting that we had, you left with things that were assigned to you. Now tell us where we sit. And in time, they're going to learn that they're going to be expected to do certain things, and they're not going to get out of things that they've been assigned. The next part of this is basically establishing standards. When you've assigned things, there should have been deadlines or timelines that they should have been assigned, and deliverables as to basically done at a certain level, a certain quality. Well, we want to make sure that it's not just done, but it was done right. And so that's part of that accountability element that begins the meeting. The next part is, as the meeting now begins with new items, we want to actually put them in the context of why this is relevant to the vision of the company. So we're not just talking about a topic for the sake of discussing something. We're discussing it because it's impacting either positively or negatively our vision. And we want to be able to tie it into how this actually helps us achieve our goal if we can address this topic. So now with that context, we want to bring up each of the items that are in the business. Otherwise, why are we talking about it? Now, if you can give that context in your meeting, everyone can then see the reason for this. Why are we talking about it? And in essence, what it's doing is it's allowing you as the leader of the organization to take your vision and prioritize, this is what we need to be talking about next to move us forward or take away some of the weights that are holding us back. Now, with that vision, now we want to get into the third element of the meeting, which is everyone needs to participate. It's the social element, to simply say that everyone that's been invited to the meeting needs to have a say. What we want to do is make sure, and this is your role, that everyone has a voice and has shared something in the meeting. You shouldn't have individuals attending meetings where they leave saying, I don't know why I was there. I don't know why I come to these. I don't ever have anything assigned to me. Your job is to make sure that they are actually experiencing the meeting and being asked for their participation, their input, their point of view and perspective. Now, with that, they may or may not, but hopefully leave with some action items. That way they can see that they're needed. But more importantly, what we're trying to do is give everyone a voice. What do they think of it? And get their input. You're going to have in your organization people that have a little bit more of a say. They are more than happy to volunteer their opinions. They're eager to answer questions. They want to be engaged. Well, at the same time, that's going to suppress or perhaps silence some other people in your organization because they realize this other individual is more than happy to speak and say their mind. Well, what we want to do is, as the leader, is make sure that after that person that's always speaking is saying their piece, we're able to go to that other individual that may not be so engaged or involved just because they're just not that type of individual, to give them a voice and ask them a question and get their input. If you're ending your meetings where individuals are actually feeling like they're part of a greater good, a greater whole, that they have something to contribute, they'll have a sense of purpose being there. And more importantly, if you can give them a task to leave with, then they're given a sense of belonging because obviously they can see the part they're playing in the organization. This is crucial as you're actually applying these principles and in turn getting the freedom you need, because all of these things lead to individuals in your organization taking care of things that they've been delegated, allowing you to focus not so much on the tasks and performing things that are needed, but really the vision and what it is that needs to happen next. So with this, I'm hoping that as I've been speaking, you've been able to take some notes to learn the stages of the business that you find yourself in. Essentially what it is it's those three areas. You're in that child, teenager, or adult phase. For you to see exactly how that applies to you, I'm going to invite you to do an online questionnaire. This online questionnaire allows you to answer questions regarding your organization and give you what's referred to as a business score. And it will quickly and easily show you where you're at in these stages. And more importantly, we can give you a report back as to how you can now address each and improve those areas that need attention in your organization. So in addition to getting a copy of the book in the black, I'm also going to invite you to get a free business score report that will take you less than 15 minutes to answer questions and get the information you need to know what it is you need to be working on as it relates to those 8 drivers that determine the value of your organization. Now, from this, one of the things that I want you to realize is I shared with you an agenda that you can use in your organization. It's a very basic one, but nonetheless, it's an agenda that you can easily follow to ensure that people are being held accountable for what's asked of them, that they see their role in the vision of the company and the part that they're playing, and more importantly, are given a voice so that they can all contribute to the organization's growth and success. With that agenda, I believe you'll be able to actually have more effective and productive meetings when you choose to meet with your team, just ensuring that everyone that is invited to attend is one that's participating. So with that in mind, the whole essence of this freedom discussion is to empower you to actually get back to working on your business, because I think as we all do, we get sucked into the day-to-day operations of our company. And when we can have a little bit more vision again of where we're going with all of this and a path to now follow to actually achieve it, it becomes exciting and something that we can do to basically improve over time the organizations that you're creating. So I invite you to do this. Work on your business. Build the premier accounting firm in your area. Understand this. If it's about accounting, it is universal. And so what we want to do is give you the tips, the tricks, and the tools that you need in order to excel as you work on your company. So let me just kind of wrap this up by inviting you to reach out to Universal Accounting. You can do so by going to universalaccountingschool.com or giving us a phone call at 801-265-3777. And as well, definitely listen to our other podcasts and subscribe so that you can get the information you're needing on a regular basis as to what it is you can do to work on your business and build the premier accounting firm in your area. All of this is designed to give you the confidence and competence to go out there and offer quality services and get paid what you're worth. So remember this, accounting success is universal. Take care, have a great day, and be safe out there.